One of the things we learned, maybe the main thing we learned when we finally got access to thousands of hours of surveillance footage that the January 6th committee had been hiding, is that some of the people the media told you were terrorists, they were terrorists, they need to go to prison, and who did go to prison, actually never committed terrorism of any kind, just the opposite. They just kind of wandered through the Capitol building. That's true of Jacob Chansley, the so-called QAnon shaman, the one the media told you should be killed. But he's hardly the only one. This is video of a man called Daniel Goodwyn walking through the Capitol through an open door on January 6, 2021 at exactly 3:32 p.m. That is long after the doors were breached. Now, we got this video, the one you're watching now, from the Speaker of the House's office earlier this month. Mr. Goodwyn's attorney tells us that the legal team was also provided this video. And in it, you can clearly see that Goodwyn was inside for less than a minute. And when he was asked to leave, he left. So there's no dispute about any of that. It's all on tape. But the DOJ is still trying to send Daniel Goodwyn to prison. And in the meantime, they have completely wrecked his life. Daniel Goodwyn joins us now, along with his lawyer, Carol Stewart. Thanks to both of you for coming on. First to you, Daniel. Your story, I think, is similar to the story of many people in your position. But just give us a sense of what the federal government has done to you for the crime of wandering around the Capitol for 1 minute and leaving when asked.
Thanks for having me on, Tucker. Yeah, it's what they've done is I had to spend about a month incarcerated pretrial and then about a year in pretrial home confinement. And I was facing 20 years, and now I'm still facing 1 year.
You're facing a full year in prison for that.
That's right. I was in there for less than a minute.
And I just want to be as fair and transparent as possible. Is there anything you're leaving out? Did you commit vandalism? Did you hurt anyone?
It's actually in the documents that I even said I didn't steal anything, I didn't break anything, I didn't hurt anyone, anything like that.
So, I mean, how is what they're doing to you allowed in this country? I mean, you seem like a political prisoner. What would be another name for it?
Political hostage, because prisoners have rights, and they've taken many of our rights away as January 6ers.
It's disgusting. Carol Stewart, you were representing Daniel. Thank you for that. How common is this story? I strongly sense that Daniel is not alone in having his life destroyed by the Biden administration for not really doing anything.
Yes. Good evening, Tucker. Thanks for having me on. Also, I just want to point out Joe McBride is working on this case, too, and has been helping.
Yes, we know him.
Yeah, and you know him. So this is very common. The majority of people, and I've read through many cases, have done nothing violent. They've broken nothing. They were there where they believe they had a right to be. No signs, nothing indicated they could not be there. And they are being labeled as domestic terrorists.
So this is such an atrocity that I think a lot of people watching, and I just want to say in good faith, we are holding nothing back. We don't know anything that we're not telling you. If you're watching this at home, this is the sum total of the story, as far as we know. How can people help? The media is not covering this. No one in Congress seems to care, with a few exceptions. Marjorie Taylor Greene being one of them, but most don't care. So how can people who do care make a difference for these, and I'm just going to say it, these political prisoners, because that's what they are?
Well, the first thing, of course, is if Kevin McCarthy would release all the footage to all the public. The thing that the public can do to help is they can research through the footage that's already out there. They can go to stophate.com/J6 and see our calls to actions, which include praying for us, which include fundraisers to the people. You can make sure the money goes to the people themselves, and which includes writing letters to the people who are currently incarcerated. You can also watch documentaries that have been made and the truth which is going on out there, which is being held back by the gatekeeping media, that, for example, 4 people died that day and they were all Trump supporters. Of course, you've revealed that Sicknick died the next day and it wasn't because of Trump supporters. There was a lot of police violence that happened that day, and yeah, that needs to be investigated.
January 6th, I think, is probably second only to the 2020 election, is the biggest scam in my lifetime. And you know it is because they become completely hysterical when confronted with any facts that deviate from their lies. So I am grateful, Daniel Goodwyn, that you came on tonight, Carol Stewart, who's representing him, and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
God
much.
bless you.